Big news out of the fashion world. Lanvin designer Alber Elbaz is stepping down from the famed fashion house after 14 years. In a statement, Mr. Elbaz writes, in part, quote, "I wish the house of Lanvin the future it deserves among the best French luxury brands and hope that it finds the business vision it needs to engage in the right way forward," end quote. Here with a look at what this means is WSJ reporter Christina Binkley. Christina, thanks so much for being with us. Can you put into context how big of a deal this is?
Huge, huge. You know, Alber Elbaz is one of the people, he brought massive success to Lanvin over the last 15 years. He's been there a long time. It's hard for most people to even associate another designer's name with that label. And there wasn't a lot of forewarning about this. This is the second one of these we've seen, by the way, in the past week. Raf Simons has just said he's leaving Christian Dior. So it's a shock and starts to raise questions about what on earth is happening in fashion.
Because there's no word on who may be replacing him or where he's going next?
Exactly. And it sounds from what's being reported as though this was pretty sudden. It's going to be a scramble for the brand to find somebody, and I'm going to be curious to see what he decides to do next.
Right.
He did give some indication last week in talking about his concerns about the fast pace of fashion these days, what's being expected of designers. There was a time when designers designed clothes. Now they design ad campaigns and stores and brand images.
Yes. Now, you touched on this earlier, but how linked is Mr. Elbaz's touch with the Lanvin house? Are there specific design elements that come straight from him?
I would say the entire look of Lanvin at this point. I mean, he's a very humorous, very adroit designer. If you look at his clothes in stores, there's a lot of different fits. They fit women of all different ages. That's a real smart technique that he has. It fits a lot of different body types, which is unusual. So there's a lot of skill in what he's brought to it. There's also a kind of a zany, kooky, fun element to Lanvin.
Right, absolutely. Now, as you mentioned earlier, this follows Raf Simons leaving Dior, and a few months back, Alexander Wang left Balenciaga. So what is your take on this fashion musical chairs?
You know, I really think that this is a problem long-term for fashion. We're going to start to see, and we are already seeing brands that are sort of differentiating themselves by image rather than the clothes themselves. And you see people that, when you talk to designers, they want to talk about, a lot of them go into the business because they want to be couturiers. And they're very interested in designing lapels, not standing at a photo shoot, arranging models.
The fashion house creative director is known, or has recently been known, as the most coveted job in fashion. Do you think that this may change?
No, I don't see that changing. I think you're going to find different people going into it. The creative director, you're famous. You're invited to all kinds of Hollywood parties. Those are big, big salaries for those brands. So there's always going to be people that want to go into that. I do wonder, though, about people. It wouldn't surprise me to see somebody like Alber Elbaz go in and launching his own couture line because he knows what he wants to do. He's had great success at Lanvin. Maybe he just wants to work with clients now.
That's right. And if he does it himself, he can control the schedule and all the rest of it.
And have some lucky clients.
That's right. All right, Christina Binkley, thank you so much for that.
My pleasure.